Hey folks, how y'all doing today? Jaime here. If y'all recall, I've done some of the archery tips here on John's channel, but one of my first videos was on knives. I was just going through a couple knives that I was seeing how they felt for me, for my use. I also did a video on lanyards, some of the ways you can utilize lanyards on a knife that maybe aren't thought about. And then I also did another knife tip video on methods of knife carry. So that brings us as to why I'm here today. So I came up with a little bit of a concept that I'm testing out, and John wanted me to do a quick little video for you guys on this. So this is what I call my over-the-shoulder chest rig carry. It looks a little over the top, I get it. The reason I came up with this concept was with our loves for knives, from myself and John as well. Even though I do like large knives, when you're moving around the woods or at camp, I kind of don't like having that big heavy knife hanging off of my belt, either flopping around on my leg, or let's say for some reason I'm getting into a vehicle or just sitting down. Having that large blade on the belt, you tend to just take it off and hang it up. Most of us just carry them in our packs and pull them out when we're going to use them. So if we have a regular belt knife, 4-inch blade, 5-inch blade, something of that nature, it's going to be on our body. So I was thinking along the lines of, okay, when I'm in a small aircraft or in a small boat, normally all your equipment is stowed away in the back till you get to your designated site, whether it's a campsite or hunting. So I'm kind of thinking backcountry, those people that are out in the bush plains in Alaska, or you're on some kind of a canoe trip. So this is where idea is coming from. Actually, a really good way of understanding this, if y'all remember the movie The Edge with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin, they're a couple of guys along with a pilot in a plane up in Alaska. Plane goes down and they're SOL out there. And if it wasn't for Anthony Hopkins' little folding knife, they would have been a lot worse situation. So I was thinking, how can I carry a large type of survival blade on my body in a tight quarters that it's not, bothering me? So this idea came out. And even though I have been on small Cessnas and and traveling in and out of some areas where if the plane goes down, we're up in the mountains, and then what? Also, former life in the Navy, Naval Special Warfare, when in the SWIC units or special boat units, you have what you have on your body, but all your other gear is stowed in the boat. And there are times when we do practice drills. If that boat gets hit, if that boat is no longer operable and it's destroyed in enemy waters and you got to swim to shore, it's what's on your body. So, or let's say you're on that little camping trip, or a canoe trip, and you're paddling along, got a little deliverance situation going on, and you spill away. There goes all your equipment, so it's what's on your body. So again, we go back to those belt knives and whatever. But if I want that larger survival knife, I was thinking, how would that best be worn? So here we are. I came up with this concept where I throw it over my shoulder, sling it up, and cinch it up tight with just a simple pull of the strap. The sheath itself was designed and made by Doug Wilson of YellowHawk Custom Kydex. He's done a lot of work for a lot of people, but for me, I think this is my 5th sheath from him, if I'm not mistaken. The actual strap itself, or the sling, that's from a buddy of mine, and he designed that. So you guys get eyes on. He figured out a way how to attach it to the sheath without a lot of hardware. So this was kind of my conceptual concept for how to have this larger blade on my body in tight quarters, said plane or canoe, boat. And then if I get separated from all my equipment, I still got my large blade with fire starting stuff and backup compass. So something that John and I, we came out here out in the woods, and I was riding in the Jeep, not a big deal, and also running around. I failed to mention, this is not to be sitting around camp wearing it kind of a thing. This is, again, in those methods of movement. Once I get to camp, I would remove it, because we're doing stuff. But what was funny is, as John and I, we've been out here, we've been playing around, grilling, cooking, making boiling water. So we've been doing camp stuff, and I kept it on. It was kind of comfortable. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be the newest way to carry your knife, but just something interesting, something new, something out of the ordinary. And the blade was right there with me at all times. So it made for a very convenient way for me to carry a large blade on the body. I'll go a little bit, well, I'll leave it up to John to edit out, but I'm going to go into the blade real quick. This knife, it's not made anymore. So per online information, The history of this knife goes back to Mike Stewart, back when he was making blackjack knives. When he first started out, he was in partnership with a gentleman by the name of Ken Warner, and they made blackjack knives. They were making them out of Japan, or getting some knives made out of there. And they did have knives like this one that looked like them, that said blackjack. But apparently Mr. Ken Warner wanted to make a line that was a little bit more affordable to the public, so they came out with this big country version. And still to this day on eBay you can find different variations of the blade. So what I like about it, and what caught my attention, was the design. Think of a Cutlery with that slope, but it also looks like a Felkneven A1 Pro to a certain degree. So if you were to take a Felkneven A1 Pro and a Cutlery, put them together, boom, this is kind of what you got. So if I'm holding the handle, you could see how dramatically that edge drops. So right away when I saw that, I knew this was going to be a good chopper. Obviously you got a good finger guard there, and then on the back for that chopping. In my what do you call it, my lanyard video, I talked about having the types of lanyards that I put around for chopping. But for this one, I like that, excuse me, that eagle's beak. Now I'm going to get into a quick little bit of knife history. The reason why we call it eagle's beak or bird's beak, again, I read this in like everyone's knife Bible or something, a knife Bible history. Back in the Mexican-American wars, back during when the Bowie knife was in popularity, that knife, large blade design, was that concept was going down into Mexico. So it was also fashionable for a lot of the military officers to have these nice big blades, and they adorned them down towards the butt with the head of an eagle made out of brass or whatever, the steel that they had, and it would be an ornate look. But it also happened to help in trapping that pinky finger. So thus the term of eagle's beak. And actually here with a little lanyard hold actually looks like that. But just a little bit of knife history there for you guys in regard to that. So in regard to this knife though, there may be some more still on eBay, but for me it kind of the best of both worlds. I like Cutleries, but too big, too thick to be carrying on the person. I like the Felkneven A1 Pros and knives of that style and design from a survival knife. The Felknevens though, I didn't like the handles, they were too thick. So I found this knife just by chance on eBay, and I really like it for that large type of a survival knife situation. So it came with a pretty unimpressive leather sheath, so I knew I had to send it to Doug Wilson to get this Kydex sheath made, and then collaboration with my buddy for the sling. So I know a lot of information, just threw it at y'all. No, I'm not a big game hunter going out to Alaska, and my days of being on small boat craft and being in harm's way are way behind me. But the point is that I kind of wanted to have an idea of like how to carry a big blade on my body without it being, you know, too intrusive or obtrusive, I should say, in getting in and out of vehicles, or if I'm left with one thing on me, this is one way. So yeah, getting a little bit of, you know, that Rambo-like feel that us knife lovers have. But hey, that is life. That's why we're knife nuts, and we have that ability in today's day and age to let our creativity go. So we don't have to stick to the same box that everybody wants you in of how to carry a knife, and you guys know where I'm going with that. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Maybe this will inspire some other ideas for other people to be creative on how to wear their knives or cutlery or whatever the case may be. So y'all have a good one, and we'll see you on the next video. Y'all take care. Thank you.